Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 9. In this module, we're going to focus on observing and assessing emergent literacy development in young children. So in this chapter, we're going to focus not only on how we observe, but why. We need to understand why we're making all these observations, but then we'll also work on some techniques for how to observe children's literacy behaviors. And even more importantly, how these observations help us support their learning. So, why do we observe? In early childhood education, observation is critical because it helps us understand where children are in their literacy development. They're going to, most of them be at, maybe similar stages, but never the exact same. So we need to know what each individual knows and how that individual child uses language and how they interact with texts, which they can begin interacting with texts very young, and understanding that, books hold words and words are knowledge. So this data guides us in tailoring our instruction to meet the individual needs of each unique child. Different types of observations give us different types of information. For example, we could use checklists. They help us quickly capture specific skills like letter recognition, while event sampling documents a child's behavior during some focused specific literacy activity. We can also use frequency counts to note how often children engage with literacy materials. A favorite, portfolios. Parents love to see these because they can really get different snapshots of where their children have been and where they are now. So they can really see growth through through portfolios. So that's a great one for sharing with parents. They do take some work and some effort to make sure that you're collecting the information for a portfolio. And all of these are talked about in the chapter, so you'll be able to read more about them. In this module, you've got a pretty extensive quiz over the chapter, and then you're going to do an observation practice where you're going to watch a 4.5 minute video of some children engaged in a literacy activity, and you're going to decide what skills you see them meeting. So I'm really excited for you to dive into this week. And remember, the goal is not just to observe, but to think critically when we're observing about how we can scaffold learning based on what we see, how we're going to scaffold things for each individual child. So by the end of this module, hopefully you'll feel more confident using assessment data. That's the data that you gather from the observations to support each child's individual literacy journey. So let's get started.